Caitlin Clark knew exactly how Angel Reese was going to react to this.
The Indiana Fever faced off against the Chicago Sky in a blowout victory.
And going in on the Chicago Sky.
They're not going to be pushed around anymore. Even in the midst of all the talk yesterday, you have a Sophie Cunningham, you have a Natasha Howard, and you have a DeWanna Bonner. There's a level of credibility. There's a level of toughness.
Caitlin Clark, in the post-game interview, she made it a point to say, this is not please don't blow this out of proportion.
The Indiana Fever had just completed their thrilling victory when Dana Bonner struck a match and ignited the internet, leaving the entire WNBA community gasping for air.
She currently funked herself in Charlotte Webb after she shared a post last night of pretty much somebody congratulating her and going in on the Chicago Sky.
When Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese were watching everything happen, Bonner didn't hold back. She clapped back, stirred the pot, and made sure everyone knew exactly where she stood.
Caitlin Clark knew exactly how Angel Reese was going to react to this. She knew Angel Reese would lose her temper. She knew she would try to cause a scene. Caitlin Clark, she walked away from Angel Reese like she didn't matter.
If you thought the Fever's victory was the headline, think again. This is something else. What started out as simply another post-game moment swiftly evolved into one of the season's most talked about opening sessions, and social media is currently erupting.
They make it a hate thing. They make it a hate train. It's no. I'm telling you, if I was the coach or the owner, we forfeit in every game. Either we forfeit or Angel will not be in attendance.
Angel Reese fans is calling race, they're sparking a race war on Twitter right now, and it's starting to get national attention. They're attacking white fans, black fans.
From the very beginning, the atmosphere in the arena was electrifying, and you could feel the tension building like a storm that is about to break out. The Indiana Fever showed off their quickness and focus.
She got a big ovation, a lot of support from everyone in Gainesbridge, and she's so deserving of it.
She has tied Tina Thompson for third on the all-time scoring list.
That was the entire game. They were feeling us every cut. We were talking, we were communicating, we were flying around, deflections. One more thing. KK, first WNBA!
Caitlin Clark set the tone early with her trademark court vision and aggressive shooting, and every possession made a statement, but the Connecticut Sun's ability to control the tempo was what really shocked everyone. Dana, an experienced vet, with ice in her veins, Bonner appeared to have a personal matter to resolve.
DeWanna Bonner, man, Indiana Fever all became the third all-time WNBA leading scorer in history.
Caitlin Clark looks like she's going to be the MVP of the league. Angel Reese made a fool out of herself, and we won by 100, and I won. So we're back in the good mode, back in the winning. Yesterday was tough for the Celtics, but we're back, baby, and it all starts with who? CC 22, Caitlin Clark.
Angel Reese, who was known for her fiery demeanor and trash talk, was confronted by a different kind of fire that didn't yell, but instead burned cold and calculated the Fever's defense, denying her space and frustrating her every move. Although Reese managed to pull off a double-double, it was obvious that the game wasn't in her hands. Rather, it belonged to Bonner and the Fever, and they were making sure that everyone in the building understood it. Every bucket, steal, and stare down was part of a larger narrative that was playing out in front of the cameras, with Dana Bonner at the center of it.
Much like Donnie Carr, Angel Reese relies on the dramatics to generate attention, because just like Donnie, she can't maintain attention based on skill. And the attention-seeking behavior, it started immediately yesterday as Angel Reese and the Chicago Bravado decided that they were going to disrespect the country by refusing to come out for the national anthem.
As the game went on, the focus shifted to Angel Reese, not because of what she was doing, but because of what was being done to her. The confidence that usually exudes from her seemed to crumble under the strain. Every awkward possession and missed layup fueled the flames, which the crowd, her teammates, and most importantly, Dana Bonner felt and fed off of.
She immediately loses her temper. She could not believe Caitlin Clark stole her moment. Angel Reese gets off the ground very slowly because everyone seems to be moving in slow motion in the WNBA.
The Angel Reese fan base is full of toxicity right now because they is extremely embarrassed that Angel Reese came to came to Indiana and laid a goose egg. Now, granted, she did get a double-double.
Late in the second half, Bonner hit a contested shot directly in front of Ree and turned with a look that didn't require words. The crowd erupted, but Bonner didn't celebrate or smile. Instead, she just stared. It was a cold, unshaken, and intentional look of dominance. Later, when Bonner posted a video online celebrating her performance while subtly disparaging Ree and her team, the internet went crazy. It wasn't just a highlight, it was a statement.
You know, DB is somebody that, you know, is a Hall of Famer, like a legend, not only a good basketball player, a great person, a great leader. You know, the strongest voice in our locker room is hers. And it's fun to have been around here now for about a month just to get to learn from her and soak it in. And I'm really happy she got to do it at the free throw line and all the fans could go crazy and cheer for her because she certainly deserved that moment. And it was really awesome to see and be a part of.
Keaton gets the triple-double in the midst of it with people crashing out and crying about stat padding, by the way. And yeah, were they trying to get her a triple-double a little bit? But here's the thing. People always try to draw these equivalencies because they hear a criticism one way.
Still reeling from the defeat in the confrontation, Reese found herself in the middle of a storm that she couldn't completely control. What should have been about the game was now about the message, and Dana Bonner made that clear. This wasn't just about points on the board. It was a fight for respect, and Bonner had just set up her flag in the middle of Reese's territory.
So this is the post. I'm going to have to put allegedly on there because DeWanna Bonner deleted it. But allegedly, this is the post DeWanna Bonner put on X. And it stated, congrats to DeWanna Bonner. Chicago needs to get it together. People's kind of pointing fingers at DeWanna Bonner like, you know what? You shouldn't have shared that. She can share what she wanted to share. Now, I believe she later deleted this post. But, man, watch this, bro. Watch it. Let's head on over to X, dog.
Angel Reese entered the arena with the same swagger and confidence that had come to define her, but it was immediately apparent that this night would put her to the ultimate test. The Indiana crowd and Dana Bonner were unrelenting, and every time she touched the ball, the defense closed in with a purpose. There was no room to move or time to reflect, just intense, suffocating pressure.
And DeWanna Bonner represents the old guard, if you will. Not that she's acted like the old guard or in any of the stereotypical ways that the old guard has been portrayed, but just because she is and has been a fixture of the WNBA to the point where she became the third all-time leading scorer, obviously, in that game. And Bonner chose to go to the Fever, which surprised some folks, but shows you more so that it was a basketball-related decision. She knows it's a chance to win another championship. She knows it's a chance to, be a part of a great collective and group, a moment in time, a moment of support, and she expressed how much she was grateful.
The veteran moved with purpose, locking eyes with Ree after big plays to show her exactly who was in control. Reese fought back, grabbing rebounds, hustling for loose balls, trying to find her rhythm, but something was off. Her normally fluid and commanding movements looked shaken, and she was visibly frustrated by the intensity and precision of the Fever's attack in Bonner.
Angel Reese did come away with a double-double. She got 12 points and 17 rebounds. Camila Cardoso didn't really show up, but I was very, very excited about how Aaliyah Boston was facing up against her because Camila Cardoso is so big, and that is one thing that I've been kind of wondering how Aaliyah Boston is going to fare with all these way bigger bigs in the league.
When Bonner posted a congrats message that not only celebrated her accomplishment, but also subtly poked fun at the Chicago Sky and their young star, the internet went viral. Fans immediately analyzed every word, every emoji, and every bit of shade, and Ree was suddenly not just coping with a difficult night on the court, she was in the midst of a social media storm.
These people don't like anybody associated with Clark. Just ignore them. The people that they refer to is none other than the Angel Reese fan base, man. The Angel Reese fan base is full of toxicity right now because they is extremely embarrassed that Angel Reese came to Indiana and laid a goose egg. Now, granted, she didn't get a double-double, but a goose egg is a goose egg. And I'm telling you right now, she laid the biggest goose egg on national television.
As Dana Bonner stood tall with the scoreboard and the spotlight at her side, Angel Reese was left in uncharted territory, feeling quiet, disgruntled, and for once outshined. It was no longer about facts. Instead, it was about pride, image, and who truly owned the moment.
Angel Reese gets the ball in the post and she has a wide open lane for an easy layup. For reasons unknown, Caitlin Clark decides to foul. It was a rare lapse in judgment from Caitlin Clark. All she had to do was let Angel Reese attempt the wide open layup. The ball would bounce off the bottom of the backboard or end up in some poor kid's lap in the front row. Either way, the Indiana Felines would have possession. But instead, Caitlin Clark decides to foul Angel Reese. Maybe she was just looking out for her. Maybe she was trying to prevent Angel Reese from humiliating herself again on national television.
The court seemed to open for Caitlin Clark as if she saw the game 2 steps ahead of everyone else. And then in a historic performance, she did what no one had ever done before. She recorded the first triple-double in a WNBA season opener. All eyes were on the tension between Dana Bonner and Angel Reese, but Caitlin Clark stood at the center of it all with dominance rather than drama. She didn't need to raise her voice or exchange glares. Her statement came through execution crisp passes, deep threes, and a poise far beyond her rookie status. 20 points, 10 rebounds, and 10 assists. The arena responded with thunderous applause. Even Dana Bonner, a legend in her own right, made room for Clark to have her moment. There were no showmanships, only results.
The Indiana Fever just played their first game against the Chicago Sky, and folks, it was not close. It was not close. I remember my timeline being flooded with people saying it was going to be a good dogfight. It was going to be a close game. It was going to come down to the wire. It was going to be a great one. No, it wasn't. It was a 40-point blowout. And it was a great game on one side. On the other side, it was a little questionable. But we got to see Caitlin Clark in full force. We got to see the new and improved Caitlin Clark. I can't wait to break down the film in this video for you guys, man. She looked amazing. She had a triple-double, a 20-point triple-double. She shot it nearly 50% from the field. She shot it 50% from the three, y'all. She had 4 blocks. The defense was there. The playmaking was there. The rebounding was there. Everything was there. She looked like the best player in the WNBA.
However, Clark's reaction to the altercation with Reese, in which Angel went down hard following a foul and emerged enraged and agitated, ready to make it a headline, was what really stood out. There was no need to add gasoline to the fire or take part in the drama. Clark simply turned away and let the game speak, which may have had greater impact than anything said or put online. She didn't flinch, argue, or clap back. Instead, she walked away.
That was what elicited the stat padding allegations, right? Not if she was in the game late and happened to get a rebound or a point. And same, with Clark, was it stat padding because they're trying to get her a rebound? Sure, I guess. But it's not the egregious level of stat padding. There's a different set of circumstances. Clark wasn't, missing her shot on purpose to try to get a rebound when the Fever had the ball and could have ran the clock out. They're different set of circumstances. Regardless, they both get those moments in the same game. And there was a little bit of a moment, when I asked Caitlin Clark about the additions to the team.
In a league where every move is amplified, sometimes silence screams the loudest Dana. Caitlin Clark chose to remain silent despite knowing that she had just assisted in taking down the Sky and that the cameras were watching and that the stories were being written in real time. History was produced by Bonner. Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark made headlines, and she left with a lesson that was accompanied by a lot of commotion, a viral post, and a loss.
We have to give DeWanna Bonner her flowers because in this game, she moved into 3rd in the league's highest scorer in her first game with the Indiana Fever.
Angel Reese came to Indiana and laid a goose egg. Now, granted, she did get a double-double.
Kelsey Mitchell's her ability to score, and Aaliyah Boston looked really good as the game went along. And Lexi Hull brings the energy, and that's the core. But with those additions...
But a goose egg is a goose egg.
We have to give DeWanna Bonner her flowers because in this game...
This was more than just a game. It was a message. And if today showed anything, it was that the WNBA's drama is as real as its basketball. Keep an eye on it because this rivalry is only beginning.